Of course, right when I start walking to the gym, it starts raining. Still have no umbrella. Lived here for 4 weeks. What is going on, guys? We are doing pin presses today. You haven't seen me do these in a while, so I'm working on my lockout strength. And this is a great movement to work on the second half of the lift, and only the second half of the lift. So you're not actually going to have to do any lowering, you're not have to do any really controlling, you're just going to be pressing the weight up using your tricep. But I will be using my competition grip, and I will not be using a close grip. So to set this up, you just put the pins basically about halfway up. So your hands are going to be like halfway up, so you're only doing about half the movement. And this is really going to target, help your lockout. You're going to be, again, it's an overload technique. I'm going to work up to a heavy double today. I can't remember what I did last time I did these, but if you guys having some trouble with your lockout and you've never done this before, highly recommend it. It's a cool exercise. As well, it's great because you don't actually need a spotter since you're using the safety pins. But make sure your safety pins are actually pretty sturdy because you don't want to basically damage the safety pins because you're like slamming the weight down. But yeah. So actually, after looking at the clip and realizing my position, I don't actually put it halfway. I put it about 3/4 of the way. But you can find what works best for you. If you want to work on just the tippy top of the lockout, then you could put the pins a lot, even like one notch higher than I have it, or you can put it like one notch lower. I wouldn't do it like right off your chest or right here. I'd rather do that like board presses or things like that. But find what positioning works for you. Find what you are enjoying, what you think is the best beneficial carryover to your actual bench of a lockout. Just have fun with it. Experiment. Experimente. So from 245 pounds, I'm just going to go up in increments of 20 until I feel I'm getting like close to what I think the maximum double is going to be. And then from there, I'll kind of tone it down, maybe going up in like 10 pounds, 15 pounds, 5 pounds. So we did 245 pounds for a double. We're still doing doubles. Now we're moving on to 265 pounds. Do you guys like when I put the kilogram conversion on the screen? I usually only do it for like the heavier sets. But let me know, and I can start doing them maybe more often. But I probably won't do it with like the 135, 185. It's gotta be heavy, gotta be impressive. Now we're moving into 310 pounds. We're gonna try this for a double. When you get into like the super heavy weight for you relative to your strength, the first rep is always a little like, wah! And then the second rep usually goes a little smoother if you have the strength for it. But the first one kind of throws you off because it's an interesting movement. And even though you try to stay tight like in your normal movement, it's a different feeling than pressing off your chest and pressing it 3/4 of the way up from a standstill point when you're not lowering it, controlling it, ready to kind of explode the motion back up. So definitely take it in strides. Don't try to jump the weight too much because if you've done it before, it's definitely throw you off. So 315, not too bad. Pretty happy with that for a double. Now we're gonna drop down to 255 pounds, which is a hair over 80% for a little bit of volume on this. So what I'll always do is I'll do my main maximum effort movement, and then I'll drop down to a certain percentage of that for usually 3 sets of 5. You can do like 5 sets of 3, really any ratio you want. For a while I tried out like 5x5, but I'm gonna drop it down to 3x5. then move in a little bit of bench. I'll probably do maybe 70-75% of that, and then the rest of the workout's gonna be focused around the tricep. So it's gonna be a bench workout, tricep focused, lockout work. What is going on, guys? Back with a commentary here. Hope you're enjoying this bench press footage focusing around the lockout work, and that's kind of what I want to talk about here is going to be taking advantage of weak point training. And I don't think people do this as much as you should. Now, you do not have to follow the conjugate system like I do, and I kind of loosely follow it in terms of the maximum effort days and the dynamic days, but you do not necessarily have to do that to focus on weak point training, because so many people do not take advantage of this when they should. You know, I see so many people with their bench press or their deadlifts, you know, one of their movements they're having struggles you know, increasing the weight. They're like, I can't figure out what's going on. The weight just won't go up. But they're focusing on the movement as a whole instead of kind of breaking it down into different aspects. For the bench press, you have off of your chest, you have from the midpoint, you have, you know, the lockout. There's a lot more to the bench press than just lowering the weight and pressing the weight back up. And you should be taking advantage of this. You know, if you punch a hole in the wall, okay, in your house, you know, you don't replace the entire wall to fix the problem. You patch the area where there's an issue, and then, you know, the wall's good as new. That's kind of like the bench press. You know, you are focusing on the point that needs fixing. You're not necessarily, if you could do the movement over and over again and expect different results, and over time your bench press will go up, but there's kind of like, I don't want to say loopholes, but there's shortcuts to increase your strength. And that I have, you know, doing this conjugate system, doing this weak point training has been one of the biggest kind of eye openers in terms of my training, in terms of growing my strength that I've ever experienced before, because it truly will change the way you train. You will look at movements a whole lot different as just instead of just looking at the deadlift as picking the weight up and then putting it back down. You will focus on off of the floor from your shins at the lockout. You'll look at it so differently. So try it out. I really recommend it. There's so many, especially the bench press. There's so many variations of the bench press to aid in terms of to grow your numbers. So don't be afraid to try out this weak point training. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below and I'll try to get to them. I really do appreciate you guys watching this video. Hope it was informative. Hope you learned a little bit and enjoyed the rest. Hey, what do you think about nothing? We almost missed it. If you miss the metro, you have to wait like sometimes like anywhere from 4 to 5 minutes. Sometimes it's like 10 to 15. This is Metro life, and normally I do not get to sit. Usually it's like super packed, I stand. And it's not focused. So we are watching Faster. And he just killed that guy. Having some rips, which are probably one of my favorite candies. These are delicious. You gotta make sure to find the one that has the little guy on there, because that means they're like updated and a lot more sour. But having some of these, drinking some water, you're gonna enjoy the movie. Yeah, we got the fans installed if anyone cares. Look at these bad boys, these dual blades. These are like, look how much they like angle down. Get to the chopper. But the struggle is getting all three same fans is that light's on, this one's off. If I have the like the door open, I'm like, oh, turn that light on. Oh, that one turns off. Then turn this off, and then, well, it's a bad example. Now they both turn on. Now they both turn off. Haha!